Never do anything because it's totally different from the other ways I've seen it. If you make it live, it'll be different from the way that 99% of the people do it, because 99% of the people do it don't know about acting or directing or anything else. They're just doing our town. And it will not be alive, and none of the things we're talking about will even exist. So if you want to be different, do the play. You'll be different than most of the people in the whole world.
Right.
Because most of the people in the whole world in the theater are so inept that they don't know anything and can't do anything. If, again, there's sternness in my voice, it's not in relation to you personally,
right,
or even this moment, but the fact that if one does something to take away part of the thing, you better put in something which does exactly the same thing better. Now, this is what is called an alienation effect. Read the first of his speech.
This play is called Our Town.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, what is that?
Well,
what's the thing that makes that an alienation effect? In other words, that makes it presentational, that makes it something where I'm not an actor right now, I'm a person who's talking to you. He says, we're going to do a play for you folks.
Yeah.
We're going to do a play. Now, what alienation actually does is not by artifice, but by reality, pulls them in. It's just a different way of pulling them in. It's not that we want them to think, oh, you're just in a play, and remind them you're in a play because that's what the style of the play does. No.
It's actually, my feeling
being real.
My feeling on that is they actually relax.
Yes.
About the fact, about the suspension of the disbelief, and therefore they're able to be pulled in even more.
More easily than ever before.
Oh, I don't have to pretend this is something that's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's starting not with an artifice.
Right.
It's starting with a reality.
And that's
which is the whole point of presentational staging, is to start with a reality. Now, somebody doing a PhD thesis at some point probably wrote, this alienates the audience, and so we get the alienation effect.
No, it's the opposite.
Bullshit.
It's the opposite.
It's people who don't know what they're talking about, which most PhDs in theater don't know.
And that's what I meant by the fact that he's constantly reminding people that it's a play. Not to distance them, but that the opening line, this is called Our Town.
Yeah.
It's a play. We're here to play. Yeah.
Right. Now, you see how you just said it to me?
Mm-hmm.
That's not how he said it. We're going to do a play called Our Town. It was a little...
It should be a homey quality.
Not only that, but it's just a reality.
Yeah.
Look, folks, you know you're in a theater. I know you're in a theater. We're going to do a play. Well, tonight, guess what? The name of our play is Our Town. That's what we're going to do. It's something which I'm just talking. I'm a person. Mm-hmm. I'm right here talking to you. I am the stage manager. And by the way, in directing that person should be the stage manager. That actor should be the stage manager for the production. Because then it's real to him what he's doing. And then when somebody puts a chair down wrong, he'll go, even when you haven't told him to, he'll go fix it. The audience will see that. For instance, the scene's over and somebody scoots a chair back in but not far enough. Let them go and say, let him walk over, he fixed that. And then go back. And therefore, the whole evening remains, I'm telling you this. These people are only figments of my imagination, as I tell them. I've conjured them up to tell you this story, which is exactly what every narrator in everything, whether he's in or out of the environment, does. I'm the conjurer. I am the magician. Yes, I have tricks in my pocket. I have things on my sleeve. But I'm different from a stage magician because he shows you illusion in the...
guise of truth?
Well, I don't know if he says guise there, because at the end he says, I show you reality in the pleasant guise of illusion. But that's... If I'm not here saying this, then Laura cannot walk on stage. Laura's a figment of my imagination. She is a creation of which I'm telling you. So then he should have stage managed the production. And by the way, it would have helped an actor's ego, because this guy played it all from his actor's ego. You see, I'm the stage manager, and I know I was picked for my wonderful voice, so I'm going to use it for you all night long. All the wrong values. Just a guy. But can't get there from here kind of guy. Name of our play tonight. We're going to do for you a play called Our Town. I'm the stage manager. I can't do it well enough. But I understand we're going to talk about production circumstances as we go. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about that now.
Yeah.
I'm talking about divorce from production.
Right. You're talking about the ideal.
It's not the ideal. It's not that it's the ideal. It's that it's not the thing. Lights on or lights off. after that, he says what?
It was written by Thornton Wilder.
That straightforward information, but it's not new information because they see it on the program. If they've heard of it, they probably know who the author is. But just to set things straight, we're going to do a play tonight called Our Town, written by Thornton Wilder. So we give him some degree of respect for that. And by the way, if you're directing the actor at that moment, and you say, why do you say that? He says, well, it says that. Well, what do you think of it? You like the play? Yeah, I do. Do you have respect for Thornton Wilder because of this play? Then he's going to say, this is by Thornton Wilder, with respect, without you saying, you should say the play like you have respect for the author because he wrote the play and we all love the play. So you lead him where he needs to go without telling him.
Because if you just tell him how to do it, he'll imitate, right? Or do a cliche.
Right. But you lead him to that, so that then we get a value of them telling us it's Thornton Wilder. Not just it's William Shakespeare, it's Boucicault, it's Ionesco, it's Ibsen. Just for your information. No, it's never for their information. When you are dealing with a play that's full of exposition at the beginning, it is never played as information. It is played from character. She's a busybody, so she knows everything, so she loves to tell it. Not this happened and that happened, the other thing. Or there's a reality based on the character and the situation who's telling it. It's not, this is information, so you and the audience will know 3 years ago. The Agamemnon starts with the lookout on the top. It's 10 long years I have been on this route since Agamemnon went with an army, the mighty Argive army, to win Helen back, and she had been taken from his brother. That's not information. That's, oh, Christ, I've been up here for 10 years. You realize how long I've been sitting here? Since the great Agamemnon went off. Because it's his life that's been with. To now have to sit up there for 10 years. You think he likes sitting up there watching the horizon all night long for 10 years? Nobody would like that. It's been 10 years. It's not informational. 10 years has it been since the mighty... Yes, I'm telling you about the play. When you do that, there's absolutely nothing in it. People say, if I say it sonorously, then it's important. It's not important. It makes no difference how it's said. It's only important if it's a dramatic reality. Now, if a man comes up there and says, 10 years have I sat on this rooftop waiting for the mighty Argive army to return. Every night you don't know what it's like to have been up here. So I look and I listen, and every night nothing happens. And downstairs, you think this is bad? You ought to know what's happening downstairs. And he tells them certain things that, I can't tell you. I can't tell you. They would pull my tongue out if anybody knew I said what the queen is doing. You think what she's planning for her husband? You think she'd be nice to me if I told? I don't want to talk about it. What, am I going nuts? Since I'm talking about the signal that's coming, it's a fire. Wait, I'm not hallucinating. Holy mackerel! You're pulled into suspense and for him. Okay, so that's what exposition always has to be. It always has to be the character living through the moment who has to tell you this. So now we've got a number of things. We have the audience coming in. They see somebody fooling around up there. Well, he's getting the stage ready. I understand that. Everything's not always, there the whole night. So he has to come in. He's checking at any rate to make sure that it's there, which is what the stage manager does. But nobody gets all involved in that. They just see the person. They say, well, they're getting ready for the stage. They don't even get involved. They're talking to the person. It's not time to look yet. But everything that he has done tells you that this person is going to be running the show, even to the thing where he leans on the proscenium and waits for the last stragglers to come in and get seated before essentially his mindset is, am I here now? Okay. The name of our play tonight is going to be Our Town. It was written by Thornton Wilder. Now you already have somebody who's running the show, who watches, and once we're all ready. He doesn't say that, but his behavior says that. Mm-hmm. Now I'm ready to tell you. So, just up to this point, we already now have form and suspense. Because what we've seen is, even though we weren't noticing, this guy's running, setting it up, And if somebody says, who's that on stage? You'd say, I don't know, they're setting up. It hasn't started yet. What are you talking about? But now that person comes over and stands and watches, and then he starts. You say, oh, that guy is running the show.
You'd say, oh, he's a part of the play. Yeah.
And
he's in the play.
Then everything you have seen him do, even if it's peripherally, has meaning. It all has meaning. It's not meaningless. It's not we're setting up for the play. The author is dragging the audience in, even when they don't even think it's time to be dragged in. Because they will appreciate what they've seen of him in retrospect once they see he's going to say, tonight our play is called Our Town by Thornton Wilder. Now what is said?
Produced and directed by A, or produced by A, directed by B.
Okay, what does all of these things mean?
In it, you will see Miss C, etc., etc., etc. Well, it's an extension of the presentational style.
Right.
You know, that we're gonna look at we're gonna look at what's literally happening here
what happened
tonight.
To what I saw?
You didn't get that.
What happened? I don't remember.
Yep. We went from it was written by Thornton Wilder to the name of this town is Grover's Corners.
That's what I'm talking about.
I left that out.
Why? It's exactly like the guy saying we're going to do a play tonight.
Right.
And it's exactly the same thing. It is bringing them in by telling them the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It was produced by B. Mm-hmm. It was directed by. In the play tonight, you're going to see Betty Ann Johnson as whatever the people's name you actually had in the play.
Right. But would you name every cast member?
No, the major ones. Because he says, and others.
Yeah. So in it, you will see Miss C is the name of the actress playing Emily or whatever. Right. Yeah.
That's what all of that means. Mm-hmm. The author's telling you exactly how they're doing it. Mm-hmm. If you do it that way. Because if you don't do it that way, you don't get the value of it is. That's not just something, to make it folksy. That's making the people say, oh, I like this. I like this. They're telling me right. So, and you'll see Charlotte Smith as Emily Gibbs.
Peter something as George Gibbs.
He lets you pick who you want to.
Which ones? Yeah.
In other words, he says, etc.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that means he's letting if you wanted to announce the whole cast, you could. Mm-hmm. Because he does say, and others. So what you do is, in a staging way, if you want to give a sense of whoever I pick is going to play this, Miss so-and-so as Emily. So she comes out, you see her. We're going to have so-and-so as George Gibbs. Right. We're going to have so-and-so as Mr.
Doc Gibbs.
Then the audience says, they say, oh, that guy's going to play Doc Gibbs. Now, when you read a play and you know what it's about, you then have to look at every one of the elements and see how do they make this come about. How do we make the whole experience, which will lead to a particular meaning, come about? And when the author tells me certain things to do, it's not that he hasn't thought about these things. He has thought about them. You're pulling the audience in when you're pretending not to. Right. I'm just telling you the truth. I don't want you to believe in some phony illusion. Not only that, is that you're telling them the truth. Yeah. And what you're really going to do is use not artifice to tell them the truth, but truth to tell them the truth. Because that's what brings them into the artifice.
Yes.
The first thing, what it fights with is the necessity for the suspension of disbelief. The audience doesn't have to go through a moment of the suspension of disbelief. Because you don't start out saying, 10 years have I been on the rooftop.
You're not even asking them to suspend their disbelief.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what's behind the Brecht presentational style.
Right.
Representational style versus presentational style. Representational is the more traditional.
Representational is only traditional from the 18th century until the 20th.
Right.
The Greek theater was presentational.
Right.
Medieval theater was presentational.
Right.
All of the pageant wagons of the Commedia dell'arte was presentational.
Because they grew out of ritual and
Shakespeare's
storytelling.
plays were presentational. Every other time in history, until we got into the invisible fourth wall, was presentational.
And the representational is the fourth wall work, where we're, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf?
Right.
So on.
Right. So all of these elements he's given you to help bring you in. And all of these elements, half of them you threw out. Like I told you, Walter Kirk talking about, what's her name, playing Sally Bowles. He says, when she comes on stage, I say, if you're supposed to be an immoral sophisticate from 1935 in Germany, you better act like them. You better use that cigarette holder like an immoral sophisticate. You better handle it, because I remember you playing so-and-so in The Member of the Wedding before as a young girl. This is the audience's initial connection. Dealing with the literal reality is the audience's first connection to the evening. Here comes
such and such actress.
So on stage.
Yeah.
Boom. Now, she then better behave a certain way to make you feel she's not that actress. She's now Sally Bowles. She's now the girl in Member of the Wedding. Because that is the pulling in. But what Thornton Wilder is doing is avoiding that. We don't first see her as Sally Bowles, but say, you're not Sally Bowles until you prove to me you're Sally Bowles. He is getting past that problem by saying, look at Betty Jane Johnson, who is going to be playing Emily Webb. And we look at her, and she'll be happy. The actress will be happy to have her name told to everybody. She'll be feeling good. She may be nervous about the play, but we'll see her in a very positive light there. Even if she's frightened, we'll say, oh, God, especially if she's a young girl, say, oh, she's a little nervous, a young girl, excited, or, she's important part in the play. The realities pull us in. And by the time they're starting to play scenes now, we're already accepting that girl is her. She doesn't have to do things to prove to us. So that's why he has those things in there the way they are. That is the presentational sense. We're going to tell you the truth first. And once we have you, then we're going to take you into this metaphorical reality that we want you to see. Mm-hmm. Now, the director has to read the play from the beginning. He has to know what the play is. He has to know what it means. It's not just what's the theme of the play. It's the things I'm talking about now. What are all these things in the play for? He has a chance to have left them out, but he put them in. So if he put them in, I can't make a decision about it, leaving it in or out, until I understand why it's there. And not meaning to, you took a casual attitude. Oh, it's just they have the program. They'll see who the people are. That's just the guy, saying names. And that's not the play yet. We'll get to the play. What he's telling you is when the people walk in and are talking to each other, the play is already in progress because the stage manager is up there doing the things. The real play of the evening is already in progress. Mm-hmm. People don't realize it, don't know it, because it's a truthful situation.
Right.
It's literally truthful first.
Yeah.
When you are asking an audience to come in and listen to you through your actors and listen to the author through your actors and your direction, it's a very presumptuous thing. And you call them in and you don't do what it is you're supposed to do, they have a right not to like you. They have a right to feel, what the fuck was this about? Because they don't owe you anything. You owe them everything. And it's all on the shoulders. It is all the responsibility of not the author. He did his thing, and quite often he doesn't even know it. But you are the authority on the play when you're directing it. You are the only authority, and your authority comes from you know every nut and bolt of that play. You know every word and why that word is there instead of another word. You know every stage direction, what it means, and how it fits into the mode of presentation, such as this, mm-hmm. or the meaning of the play.
Mode of presentation meaning that this is presentational.
He does those things that you cut out. because it's the mode of presentation. Because he knows that'll pull the audience into this little nice little story. After all, he's not going to be talking about much, only human existence.
Yeah.
So therefore, with that, he wants to get you in. Tonight, we're going to do a play about the meaning of life.
Oh, please.
Anything but that.
No, but instead this play is our town. Oh, okay.
Okay.
We're all from a town. We're all from a community.
Right. And then they're with you. You have really had a chance to pull them in, and you're not 5 minutes into the play. If you had, even if you didn't realize it, if you had done what the author asked you to do, it would have been a whole different sense of what it is that's going to happen here. And people would be, even if it wasn't done well, if it was done genuinely, it would have worked. You can't take for granted any value in any play. And if you'll remember the thing that Suzanne Langer says, everything has that's important has been chosen for you and is in the play. So what does that mean from the director's point? If it's in the play, it's important. It's significant. It has value that if it's not there, the play will be different. So you can't take any of the things for granted.